Guys, welcome back to Team Death Slinger. My name is Peter, and today I wanted to offer you guys one more way to play Purple Hybrid with a fun top end in BT21. We are going Ghoulmon Mill. We're going to try and deck out the opponent, use our scrambles to stop ourselves from decking out, see if we can get up to some shenanigans. So we're going to have a pretty standard Purple Hybrid package on the bottom end, starting with our eggs, 4 copies of the BT16 Cupimon on deletion, trash card in your hand, gain a memory. It's going to help us fill our trash by discarding cards, while also gaining memory to enable our plays. If you want to be a little bit greedier, you can go the ST6 Pagumon on deletion. You trash the top 2 cards of your deck. It will fill your trash faster. We do want to focus on getting 20 cards in trash to really threaten the opponent's deck out. But I'm running Cupimon because I think it's a little bit safer. You can certainly try the Pagumon if you want, though. And for the last egg, I am on DemiMeramon on deletion, trigger, draw 1, trash 1. Just a nice way to cycle a card and also keep your trash filled. Moving on to level 3s, 2 copies of ST16 Gabumon, start of your main phase if your opponent has a Digimon, gain a memory. Great way to gain memory with Purple Hybrid package, and then when attacking, you get to cycle a card as well, filling our trash, making sure that Ghoulmon can hit that 20 card threshold. We are going to run 4 copies of the BT16 Ukkomon. When you promote, you reveal top 3, take a Digimon or Tamer, the rest go bottom. Just standard for finding your Tamers in Purple Hybrid. Kind of the best turn 1 you can have is Ukkomon into a Tamer, so that you can either promote, get the extra Digimon hatch, have something in the back, and you have your Tamer set up with Ukkomon, where you're doing all of that in one turn. If you have the turn 2 play with Ukkomon into Tamer, and then you promote and you play your game. So really, really powerful card in Hybrid, and you want to have it. We're also going to have 4 copies of the EX6 Salamon, start of your main phase. If you have a purple Digimon or Tamer, you gain a memory. When attacking, one of your opponent's Digimon gets minus 2k for the turn. I've opted for 4 copies of this over the 4 copies of Gabumon, just because it is a little bit more consistent memory-wise for us. It gains us more memory because we usually have a purple Tamer in play. The opponent doesn't always have a Digimon in play, so this has been coming up a little bit more frequently for me. I'm usually evoing on the Tamers anyways rather than the level 3s, but we do still have the Gabumon in case we ever do need to do that. Moving on to level 4s, 4 copies of Duskmon from BT18. On play when Digivolving, you change one of your opponent's Digimon colors into a non-white color, and then when attacking, one of your Digimon or Tamers may Evo into level 4 the hybrid trait with a cost reduced by 1. You are usually using this to swing Evo into a Velgrmon in the trash, and then do your Duskmon combo that way. On deletion, you get to play a Tamer card with play cost 4 or less from your trash as well, which is really, really important. Then we're going to run 3 copies of the BT18 Velgrmon on play when Digivolving. For each color your opponent's Digimon and Tamers have, you trash a card from the top of both players' decks. Then for each card trash for this effect, this Digimon gets 1k for the turn. Usually you are trashing 4 cards due to 2 colors being on the opponent's board, so you're going to get plus 4k, be an 11k body, and this builds trash quite nicely for our Ghoulmon. That's kind of the bread and butter here, is building trash with the Velgrmon in order to get that Ghoulmon to a 20 card threat. End of attack by deleting a level 4 or lower purple Digimon. Delete all of your opponent's Digimon at the lowest level. Devastating effect on some board states, and it has a retail inheritable, which will come up with the Arresterdramon that you can see on the end over there. We're going to also run 4 copies of BT18 Loweemon. When Digivolving, you draw 1, trash 1. When attacking, one of your Digimon or Tamers may Digivolve into a purple or yellow Digimon card with the hybrid trait in your trash. Excellent piece either to swing an Evo into the KaiserLeomon to clear a level 4 off the board, or to swing an Evo into the Rhihimon in the trash. Both plays are excellent. We also run 4 of this, obviously, because we want to be able to warp into the Rhihimon later in the game. The inheritable also let us play a Tamer with inheritable effects out from under our stack when this Digimon would leave the battle area, other than by your effect. So you get a Tamer back if this stack does die. We will run 3 copies of the KaiserLeomon, just for the Riki Warp play. Has Retaliate on play when Digivolving, delete a level 4 or lower. I don't like running 4 of this card because it can be a brick sometimes, but I want to see it enough that we can warp consistently. On to the level 5s, 3 copies of Arresterdramon Superior Mode, a new card from BT21, and it's quite excellent in the hybrid package. You've probably seen it around. Has Raid and Piercing. When Digivolving, this Digimon may attack without suspending. That already is fantastic. You can Evo into this and pass turn while getting your swing in, which is awesome. All turns, this Digimon gets 1k for each of its Digivolution cards. Normally, this is going to be sitting at least at 12 or 13k. If you have a Tamer into level 4 into this, you have 2 sources underneath, so you should be a 12k. And then your turn, this has a 2k inheritable, which actually matters a little bit underneath our Ghoulmon, makes it a 13k, which is really, really nice. We are also going to run the 4 copies of the Rhihimon that we talked about earlier. You can warp into this by tucking a Loweemon and a KaiserLeomon from trash under a purple or yellow Tamer for a cost of 3. Has jamming, and when Digivolving, it plays you a Tamer with inherited effects from your trash without paying the cost. Nice way to net value if you ever get into this. You go +1 on Tamers, which is going to be relevant for accruing value throughout the game. When attacking, once per turn, one of your opponent's Digimon gets minus 4k for the turn. Matters for clearing away smaller bodies, but you're not going to get too much done with this in terms of the bigger bodies on the board. Usually, if there's something big that we care about, we're getting that retail swing in with the Arresterdramon Superior Mode, but it is really nice for clearing away chumps. Now, onto the top end, the reason why you are still watching this video, if you're watching this video. 4 copies of BT14 Ghoulmon when digivolving and when attacking once per turn. For every 10 cards in your opponent's trash, trash the top 3 cards of your opponent's deck. Why have I been saying 20 cards as the threshold that we want to get to? That is because at 20 cards, you are really threatening to potentially deck out the opponent with this card. If you evo into this when you have 20 cards in the trash, you're going to mill 6 cards from the top of their deck. And then if this survives at the next turn, when you swing, you're going to mill 6 more. That is 12 cards off the top of their deck. They're going to have drawn plenty of cards by the time you are at 20 cards. You are probably threatening something pretty significant at that point. When attacking, if your opponent has 10 or more cards in their trash, this Digimon also gains security attack +1 for the turn. That's why we really like the Arresterdramon +2k inheritable. That makes us a 13k. While not perfect, that is still much safer than swinging 2 checks with an 11k body. We're going to run in support of the Ghoulmon, a BT8 Creepymon, 3 copies of it, and I think these cards work perfectly together in the purple hybrid package. When digivolving, you trash the top 2 cards of your deck for each of your opponent's Digimon in play. If you trash 4 or more cards of this effect, you may play 1 level 5 or lower purple Digimon card from your trash without paying its memory cost. Then when attacking, for every 10 cards in your trash, you trash the top 3 cards of your opponent's deck, and this Digimon gets +3k for the turn. This can be horrifying. If your opponent has 2 bodies on the board, you evo into the Creepymon, you mill 4. If you happen to hit the 20 cards off of that, you're playing back a level 5. You can swing with this, make them mill 6, evo that level 5 into a Ghoulmon, they mill another 6, and now you are threatening 12 card mill every turn until they deal with these bodies on the board. And your Creepymon can actually be relatively safe if you're sitting with a retail inheritable underneath it. It kind of makes it hard for them to swing back over it on clapback because they're going to have to trade away their body due to that retail inheritable. So this is a really nice support piece to run with the Ghoulmon and be threatening to mill away the opponent's deck pretty quickly. We are going to run 2 copies of the purple Scramble. It's going to help us put cards back on the top of our deck, which we care about specifically because we don't want to mill over our Ghoulmons or Creepymons. We can't grab back Arresterdramon Superior Mode, so purple Scramble functions as a good way to put a piece back on top of our deck and stop ourselves from decking out. Stopping ourselves from decking out is kind of the more important part here. Rivals Barrage, also kind of a redundant piece that serves the same purpose. It can grab you a piece back without needing the setup, and if you get it in hand, it can actually be a nice removal piece, especially for something like Medieval Gallimon. For our Tamers, we have a really standard Tamer suite. 4 copies of the BT7 Koichi Kimura on play, draw 1, trash 1, the on deletion inheritable gains you a memory. That's going to be great with the Duskmon loop. We have 1 copy of ST16 Matt Ishida. Normally I'd run 2, only have space for 1 this time around, but when you trash a card in your hand by an effect, you can suspend this Tamer to gain a memory. Works with our Cupimon and also works with the Loweemon, works with the Koichi Tamer, so you're going to be gaining some value off of this Tamer. And then 3 copies of the BT18 Koichi Kimura. Start of your main phase, you can trash a card with the hybrid or 10 warriors trait to gain a memory. And then when attacking, you return a hybrid or 10 warrior trait from trash to hand. It's going to help us get our pieces back and make sure we have our foot on the gas pedal. So that's going to be it for our BT21 Ghoulmon Mill deck profile. I hope you don't mind the extra purple hybrid deck profile. This deck is just really good, and I like finding ways to run different top ends for it that I think are fun or creative. So that's going to be it for this video. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.
Thank you to our channel members for supporting this channel. It's people like Langlong, Big Z11, Coffee Deus, and DigiDane who make videos like this possible.